Hi, welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to show you what I made for dinner for the whole family when you have a bunch of people over and you need something quick but simple to make. This is a perfect meal. So let's get started and I'll show you exactly what I do. To begin with, I am using a chicken from Costco. This is one of Costco's rotisserie chickens, and I'm just cutting this up. Now, I know most of you see spaghetti or you think of spaghetti, you probably generally think of Hamburg or some type of beef, but my husband prefers chicken in his spaghetti, so I try and usually use chicken instead of Hamburg or beef in it. So I'm just cutting that up here. Now, once I have that done, I set that aside and then I grab one of my pots and I just fill it with some water and add in some salt. Now, I tend to always use Lowry seasoned salt when I'm cooking. It's just the type of salt that I like to use. Now, you can use regular salt if you want. I just tend to always use Lowry seasoned salt. And then I'm just using a full box of Meyer's Thin Spaghetti. And I'm just putting it in small batches at a time. And this is after I have my water boiling. I'm just putting this in, just kind of tucking it down in there. Now let me grab my spoon so I can kind of stir this up in here as well. And now I've got my spaghetti spoon here. I gotta swap hands here. I can't film and stir with that same hand. So, okay, now let me stir this up. And I just want to make sure that all my noodles are down in the water as much as possible. Now, like I said, this is a really quick meal and it serves a lot of people. It's inexpensive, but I would not say this is a healthy meal. So if you're looking for something that's extremely healthy, this is not going to be the meal for you, but it is really good. It's quick and it's easy. Now, some of you may make your own spaghetti sauce and more power to you. I am just using this Prego. I love all the Prego spaghetti sauces. They're one of my favorites. They're one of the thickest sauces that I've come across. My husband absolutely does not like any type of sauce that's really thin and doesn't stick to the spaghetti or coat it. So I always try and make sure that my sauce is very thick. Now I'm just tapping this against the side of my pan here to make sure I got as much of the spaghetti out of here as what I can. And then I'm going to just grab my spoon again here and stir this up. I'm going to turn this on and I'm going to put this down around medium and just let this cook. Now let me get this stirred up here. I'm not used to trying to stir one-handed. Normally I'd be holding on to that handle of the pot while stirring this. So I'm trying to stir it and hold the camera without letting this like come flying off the stove at me here. Now once I get this all nice and stirred, I'm just going to put the lid on it and really let that spaghetti sauce just kind of cook down into that chicken. And that is looking pretty good right there. Let me just tap this off my spoon here, set my spoon down. Now I have my lid on. Now I'm going to come back and just check, see how my noodles are doing, how they're progressing along here. They're cooking up good. I'm just going to give them a quick stir, make sure nothing's sticking together. And checking these one more time. And that looks like it's cooking up really good. They're almost done. Now let's give this a quick stir to our meat and our sauce. And you can see I have this down a little bit lower. Generally, when I cook this, I start just above medium until it gets hot and just starts to bubble up. And then I turn it down low and just kind of let it simmer and cook. And that is looking good. Now my husband definitely likes the spaghetti completely covered with the sauce. He does not like any just plain noodles sticking out. Now what I'm doing is I just grabbed a pizza pan and I'm wrapping it in some tin foil. It's easiest for cleanup and everything if you just take a pizza pan and wrap it up. That way when you're done cooking with it, you can just throw the tin foil away and put your pizza pan away and you're done with cleanup on that. No washing involved. Now I'm just taking some cooking spray and I'm spraying our tin foil. And now I'm grabbing some Hellmann's mayonnaise and I'm just going to put a good amount of this mayonnaise right here in this little container. Looks like my mayonnaise is almost out, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab what I have here in this jar, scraping this jar out. And now I'm just making a little filling here for our rolls. We're going to do some brown and serve rolls. And I'm just getting ready to make the filling for the inside of them. And I have some of this Parmesan cheese, and I'm just going to dump in a healthy amount of Parmesan cheese right on top of our mayonnaise. Just like what you can see here. And now I'm going to go ahead and stir this all up. Now, if you've never tried this on brown and serve rolls before, you should definitely try this. This is so good. I love this recipe. My whole family loves this recipe. And I didn't measure this out. I just add some mayonnaise and put some Parmesan in there, and you can see the consistency of it there. Almost looks like a tapioca pudding consistency. And you can see how it's a little lumpy in there. That's all you need. I added just a touch of the Parmesan to our spaghetti sauce and our chicken. And I'm just going to stir that in here. And you can see how nice and thick our sauce is now. And now I'm just going to go ahead and add some spaghetti into it. And when I stir the spaghetti into the sauce, I like to just do kind of a scoop or two at a time. It makes it easy to just kind of stir it all in without dumping the whole entire bowl of spaghetti into our sauce. Then it makes it a little hard to stir when you have so much stuff in your pan. So I like to do just a scoop or two at a time, stir it, and then add another scoop or two at a time. Now, I know some people prefer to have their spaghetti in one pan and their sauce in another, and then just add a little bit of sauce on top. But as I said, my husband does not like any just plain spaghetti by itself. He wants it completely covered with sauce. And so I make sure I always mix them together before I serve it for dinner. And again, I just keep adding 1 scoop at a time until we have all of our noodles mixed into the sauce. And that is looking good. Now, once that is done, all I'm going to do is grab my brown and serve rolls, and I'm going to go ahead and put 2 cuts in them. So there's cut in thirds. And then you can see I can just kind of fan that open a little bit. And now I'm grabbing our mayonnaise and Parmesan mixture, and I'm just grabbing a little bit of that and buttering each side in each of our little cuts here. And just butter it just like as if it was butter. And that's all there is to this. I'm going to go ahead and do this with each one of our rolls here. Cutting our rolls again in thirds, and then just putting a nice healthy dollop on each side of our roll and just kind of closing it up there. Perfect. And we're just going to continue to do that until we have all those done. Now, once those are completely all filled with our sauce or with our filling, we're just going to take and put those in the oven. I generally put them in the oven at about 350, and they're normally in there for about 8 minutes or so, 7-8 minutes, just until they turn golden brown on top. And now let's check, and it's been a few minutes here, and you can see they're all nice and golden. They're looking good. So I can pull these out. And these are so good. Trust me, these are very yummy. And they just fit perfectly with some spaghetti. They're great for dipping in your spaghetti sauce. And here is our finished meal. While our rolls were cooking, I went ahead and opened a couple cans of green beans, added just a touch of salt and pepper and garlic powder to them, a little bit of butter, cook those up, and then put our spaghetti on our plate and just added a little bit of cheese over the top of our spaghetti. Now on here, I'm using a little bit of Fiesta cheese. And then there's our roll. And here is what we had for dinner. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thanks so much for watching.